Hello everyone, welcome to this new video. Today I'm talking to Leo from Assjack Games. Leo, can you introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm an indie developer who's been doing this as a hobby for about 12 years now, and pretty much everything is self-taught because I just have a love of learning new skills and hobbies. That's pretty much it, I guess.
In a nutshell, what kind of game are we talking about?
Pongslaught's a arcade type of game. That's the kind of games I played a lot as a kid, so that's where the inspiration comes from. And when this whole synthwave movement started, I think it was music genre first, but then it became kind of an art style. I took in that inspiration and just infused it into my game because it blended so well with it. So it's essentially a game from that's just paying homage to the arcade era.
Why did you choose to make a game like this?
Well, ultimately, it's what I wanted to play. I have heard the concept brought up a few times of mixing a shoot 'em up game with Pong, but I haven't actually seen it done. And I made the very first game I ever made was actually this game, just a much more rudimentary version of it. And I decided, you know what, why not just remake it? I really liked that old game, and it's in a now dead language, so I might as well just dust it off and remake it, so that's what I did.
Did the game become what you originally planned it to become before the start of development?
Pardon?
Did the game become what you originally planned it to become before the start of development?
No, it was a very iterative design. It kept changing as I just kept slimming things down.
What inspired you to become an indie game developer?
I'm not entirely sure. As a kid, I do recall myself just making maps and board game stuff as a kid, so I guess it was always bound to end up in this career. And so it's weird, I didn't really get into it professionally until more recently. I just kind of bounced around in the IT sector doing various stuff, and I thought, you know, why not just make my passion a full-time thing.
Is this your first professional game you want to bring out?
It's my first commercial game, and again, like it's actually a remake of my very first game. So yes and no, I guess is the answer to that.
For what platforms do you intend to release the game?
Windows, Linux, Mac, mobile, and I'm gonna take a look at Switch, see if I can get it on any of the consoles, because I think it could port really well.
What do you think is your best attitude in life?
Best attitude? Perhaps stoicism? The philosophy of not caring, I suppose is the best way to put it.
The philosophy of not caring?
Yeah. Stoicism is a philosophy created by an ancient Greek guy who was absolutely insane, but he had a lot of good points. But it basically boils down to, if you have something out of your control, there's no need to worry, because, well, there's nothing you can do anyway. But if you have a situation within your control, you don't need to worry because you can do something about it. So worrying doesn't help you at all.
Okay. For how long have you been working on this project?
I don't know the exact start date because it was kind of a blurry line, but just over a year, I think.
What was your day-to-day process for making this game?
There's a lot of just regular go-to things and tools I use. Coffee, Hack and Plan, Git, Dropbox. My day-to-day can change, but basically just when I want to get down to work, I'll just pull open what the project board on the Hack and Plan, or you can use Trello or any of those software, and just figure out, okay, I'm going to pick a small thing and a large thing. So I get the small thing out of the way, and it gets me into the flow, and then I just start tackling the large thing, and then pretty much.
Will that be the same for potential future games you will make? Will that be the same for potential future games you make?
Yeah, I think the only major difference is in the future I would delegate a bit more and probably have an espresso machine, because I spend too much on that as is.
Yeah, a machine would definitely be cheaper on the long run if you get it all the time.
Way cheaper.
What were your biggest inspirations for making this game?
The arcade games I grew up with, but shoot 'em ups were a huge part of it, and it is a large part of the game. So classics like Gradius, R-Type, Raiden, and just the general late 80s, early 90s aesthetics to the arcade scene in general.
What makes this game different from others?
Well, people would say the visual style. I do think I got that in a nice cohesive place where I want it. But I think it's just the blending of the shoot 'em up with Pong. It makes it a really cool fusion.
What do you think is the most interesting part of the game?
Everyone seems to have their own favorite. Some people really love the aesthetics or the game feel. My personal favorite is the risk-reward mechanic, in that it's a high-action game, but if you stay still, you get a super shot with whatever weapon you have.
What game engine are you using, and why did you decide to use this engine?
I'm using Godot, which is, or Godot, depending on how you would want to pronounce it. It's an open source engine. I was last using Flash, and so I really just wanted something this time around that wasn't going to die. Because, Flash had a long death. But I dabbled in Unity and Unreal, and tried a few other engines, but I felt like Godot really fit the pixel art niche a bit better than Unity. Unity is great for 3D, good for 2D, and terrible for pixel art. So I just wanted something that made everything look pixel perfect.
So for all the game developers that want to do games with pixel art, they should not use Unity.
Basically, yeah. If you just have regular painted 2D graphics, it's fine. But if you want pixel perfect, you have to do this weird conversion between units and pixels, because it's running on top of the 3D pipeline. Whereas Godot just separates their 2D pipeline altogether. 2D is rendered in a 2D way.
What setbacks did you encounter during the project, and do you feel like you learned anything from them?
My health was a major setback, to be honest. I got to a point where I thought I was taking care of my health and just getting a variety in my food, but I was lethargic. I couldn't get things done. I couldn't start things. And it was a terrible thing. So I just had to just spend some time and get my health on path, which I think it's in a much better place now.
Well, it's great that your health is better now, because not having good health is not good.
I think it comes down to diet. It was the biggest change, I think.
Well, for everyone that doesn't feel good, just eat something else.
Yeah. Cut out the sugars, I guess. Good
yeah,
place.
It's what I am doing, and I'm losing weight, finally. I've been trying all kinds of diets, but now I cut sugar and it's dropping off like... I don't know what's happening.
Oh yeah, your body does adjust.
Yeah, my body is like, oh yeah, I don't need all this extra stuff anymore.
And then eventually, when you haven't had it in a while, it tastes gross to you.
Yeah, it's like super sweet. I had a bit of chocolate this weekend, and I was like, "Oh God, this is sweet." What's in it?
I tried having a strawberry like a month ago, and it was like candy to me. I had to spit it out.
I can still eat strawberries. That's fine, but things like chocolate and normal candy, those are like super sweet, and I was like, okay, that's just sweet world. It feels like your teeth can fall out any minute.
It's funny, the health thing was actually an accidental journey because I just started cutting out sugar out of my diet for Lent, which is it's a Christian holiday where you just get rid of a bad habit for a while, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or form a new habit. So I was just like, okay, for this span of period, it was about a month or so, just no sugar. And then after that, I'm like, I have no cravings. What else can I cut out?
Yeah, and then you cut more and more, and it works.
Yeah. Now I don't even have vegetables, so.
Yeah, I also never eat vegetables. I think we basically eat kind of the same stuff.
It's weird. You gotta teach kids to like vegetables. You never have to teach a kid to like a steak. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, steak is delicious and vegetables are gross. Children are right. I don't know why adults eat vegetables.
Just make sure you get meat, eggs, all that stuff.
Yeah, that's good food.
I know the vegans in the audience will be very upset about this, but honestly, you do you, I do me. You know.
Yeah, exactly. And also think about the amount of mice and insects that die during the process of harvesting the vegetables.
The agricultural industry has their own dirt on their hands. They got a lot of terrible things about it, which aren't good. But you could say the same with the meat industry too. Both need to get their act together.
Yeah, but if I eat one cow, that's still better than eating like 20 plants.
Oh yeah, and I try to eat as much of the animal as possible. So I get the bone marrow, I try the organ meats, and all the offcuts as well.
Yeah, my animals, my pets often eat like cow heart or chicken liver, that kind of stuff.
I have friends who are vegans, but we all agree that if you're feeding your pet vegetables, that's animal cruelty. They need to eat meat. Even if you disagree with the meat thing, they need to eat meat.
Yeah, well, my dogs often eat like cow heart, livers. I buy livers for them sometimes. Basically everything of the animal.
Yeah.
They get it in their bowl sometimes. And now that I have cats, I don't know why I have cats. At some point I certainly owned cats, but they get exactly the same if I give them raw meat. Because it's meat and they don't care if the dogs eat the same, so they get exactly the same. I do mostly like the dog gets an amount, other dog gets an amount, and the cats get the exact same amount as one dog. Because the two cats are about the same weight as one dog.
Yeah, it's really by weight.
Yeah, and it works for them. They like it. Ben has trouble chewing, but yeah, he is 11 years old, so that's the reason.
Well, liver is nice and soft, so.
Yeah, it's mostly just animals need to eat what's good for them, and I can start feeding them vegetables, and when they get sick, I actually do give them vegetables, because then it can flush them through.
Oh yeah, vegetables can help. It just needs to be 80% meat.
Yeah, well, when they get sick, I sometimes give them like rice, or I give them beans, and I give them that for like 2 days, and then we go back to meat, and they are all good as new.
Yeah, there you go.
However, let's go back to the game before we teach everyone about meat-friendly diet.
Gonna have everyone keto at the end.
Yeah, well, everyone will be healthier for it. And the plants, they will be saved.
To improve their health.
Yeah. If you could go back in time, what would you do different?
I'd be using Git and Hack and Plan from the start. I only got on the project management side recently, and I'm kicking myself for not having done it earlier because it makes everything so much smoother. Like if you have a plan that's any larger, or if you have a game that's any larger than a jam game, get on a project management software, be it Hack and Plan or Trello, and version control like Git. So when someone asks you for a copy of your game, you can give them a stable version of your game.
That's good advice. If you can advise a new indie game developer, what will you tell him?
Don't be afraid of feedback. I mean, you have to embrace feedback. It's how you grow and get better. It'll be hard at first because you want everyone to say, this is awesome, this is perfect. But when they actually do say, okay, it is great, but it needs work here, then you go work on it, you bring it back, and it's actually better for that.
I've mostly learned that developers rather have that I say that I don't like something about the game or that something isn't working than that I say, okay, this was awesome, I had an amazing experience.
Yeah. Yeah. I try to lead with that. If I actually did like it and I just want to give a critique, I try to say, it's great, here's something I would focus on.
Yeah, sometimes I have that I'm calling with the developer and then I just say, okay, I just saw this. I don't think that should happen. Like this weekend, I was playing a game and the rocks they were breeding, and he directly fixed it, and they didn't breed the next time I played.
Oh man, yeah. You gotta have that feedback.
Yeah. I have never seen that before, breeding rocks. I was actually thinking that maybe the mountain would attack me at some point.
Maybe.
But it didn't. What do you feel is success for an indie game developer?
I suppose making enough from sales to keep going and making more games. Everyone has their own definition of what success is for them, what's their magic number, what makes them well off. And ultimately it depends on your lifestyle too. But I think when it comes down to what's success for an indie developer, making enough to just keep doing this full time.
To make other developers learn, what resources would you recommend?
Resources are everywhere. I mean, there's old websites with great collections, like there's GameDev.net. I'm a huge fan of them. Discord communities like CFN or GameDev Underground. YouTube, books, other people, peers. Other professions too are huge for drawing into game development. You have to remember that games are a culmination of all the arts. So look at other things like architecture, cinematography, painting, civil engineering, music. They all have something that you can bring into your game, be it just something small like making your level layouts a bit smoother, or just making sure you have the camera always set up so it's looking at something interesting. There's other arts that you can study.
What do you think about the current marketing strategies in the indie game industry?
We're in a weird place. I mean, I don't know. I'll be outsourcing because I'm not an expert. I'm not that great at marketing. That's why I think, you know what, if you're not good at it, delegate. But not everyone has that opportunity. And so I'm not quite sure what to tell them. Put your time in, I guess, social media. Social media is still big. I would say Kickstarter and Indiegogo would be decent funds, but we've gotten to a place where there have been so many scams and letdown campaigns that people are becoming more skeptical with giving these projects money. So if you're going to take that path, just make sure you got like a demo, you got a video, you have something to show.
I agree. Where do you see the indie game market going in a few years?
One thing I have kind of noticed is as indies becoming more... Well, indies growing, so then you have this giant group breaking off into basically two categories. You have the people who are more new to the industry, who make, there's a ton of great indie games, and these are most of the jam type of games that you see, or flash games. I don't mean flash the platform, but the type of game rather. But on the other hand, you're also seeing experts go on an indie path. So it's creating this, well, as someone else coined the term, AA industry, where you have this halfway point between indie and AAA. I think the future might lie there, or where people are going to be spending their money. It's because they want that value for the money. And people love indie. It's ultimately cheaper to buy an indie game because, well, less people working on the game. And and when it comes to AA games, they're going to get that AAA kind of quality. So I think maybe the future might be this AA industry.
Which indie game developers, if any, offered you any support or knowledge in creating this game?
No one. I mean, one important thing you gotta... I think if I could tell other people something really important, is just people aren't going to come to you. You got to go to them. So whether it's just a streaming channel or just some online Discord community or what have you, approach them. Like, what's the worst that could happen? They say no. It's always better to just, I feel like, this artist could be great for the project. Approach them. Ask them. And so I've actually built up, so far in the project, no one's helped work on it, although the music is done by another artist, Hexencraft. Check out his work on, I think, Bandcamp.
If you give me the links when I ask you for the description links, I can add it to the description below so they can visit his website and everything.
Yeah, I think it's worth checking out his stuff just as much, because he's fantastic at what he does. He really helped set the mood. But yeah, I've been building up a team for the next stage of the project when I actually do have funding. So I have been building up a team. It's just so far at this point in the development, it's just been solo.
Is there any AAA studio you would work for if you could?
Oh, there are definitely AAA studios that I admire. I don't think I personally could work for a AAA studio just because I feel I need to be creative lead, so to speak. I've actually tried working in a semi-large studio around college, and I hated it. Like, I was working on a bird's nest image for a week. It took me initially like 20 minutes to make it. He just kept on telling me, no, redo it this way, but change the color here. Not that he was micromanaging, it's just they couldn't decide on an art direction, crying out loud. But yeah, it's not that I don't think that there are any great AAA studios. Just the way I work, I don't think I could work for them.
Which game do you wish you had worked on? This can be either indie or AAA.
Well, two definite, one's a franchise and one's a game, but two I really have admired growing up was Metroid Prime and the Mortal Kombat games. If I could have worked on any of those, that would have been awesome. Because it was really Metroid Prime that made me adamant that games, it was something I wanted to do. I was so fixated on all the tiny details and how they set up the environment, how they set the mood, how they loaded levels seamlessly. I loved everything about that game.
Well, I have seen some of your artwork. You should not worry to make a fighter game on your own with that art.
I definitely have a fighting game in my notebook. I'm not sure what project or when I'll get to that one, but I think I would love to make a like a heavy metal themed pixel art Mortal Kombat kind of game.
That would actually be really cool. I would play that for fun, not even for just interviews.
Sure. See,
So,
I make the games that I want to play, and other people want to play them.
yeah, well, I would totally play that. I love Mortal Kombat.
It's great franchise.
Yeah. Have you ever worked for other gaming companies?
I've just mostly done odd art contract stuff over the years. I paid for my indie dev mostly through just part-time labor. And I think maybe all those games I worked on or projects I worked on failed in one way or another. So it's not like my name's out there anymore. This game will really be the one that put my name out. But I think I needed all those failures first though, because it taught me a lot.
Yeah, that's with most things. Where you fail, you learn that, okay, if I do it that way, it won't go right, so I probably have to do it another way, and then you start doing it right.
You know what, 12 years of failing is a lot of failing, but you know what, I've learned so much in 12 years, and I think it shows in my current game.
Did you have any gaming education at school, or did you learn the whole development process on your own?
It's almost exclusively self-taught, but I did actually go to college for a couple years to learn 3D modeling and a few other elements of the game dev stuff. So it actually did help me with my art skills. I learned some various things about level design. It was pretty decent. I like that. Too bad I never really made use of the 3D since I found 2D to be my niche.
You can always make a 3D game in the future. You're not 80 years old yet. You have a lot of time.
I'm thinking I'll blend in 3D elements for sure. I really want to make like a Diablo-style isometric game.
See, there you go. You have enough time left. You can make everything you want.
Oh yeah, I'm not dead yet. There's plenty of time.
Now you say that like you're 70.
Doesn't matter how old you are. Even if I was 70, you know what? There's still time. I'm not dead yet.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Just think about that you have about 30, 40 years and then it's enough.
And if there's actually anyone listening who's in their golden years who are thinking of trying out game development as a career, do it. You know what? You're not dead yet. Go ahead.
Where did you grow up?
I moved around quite a lot, but Nova Scotia and Toronto, Canada mostly. And I'm still in Toronto today.
Is Toronto fun?
Pardon?
Is Toronto fun?
I don't know, some love the city. Like, it's got that New York kind of mentality where people are just obsessive about their city, but it's not me. And like I said, I'm a country boy. I need to just get out. Too big for me.
You should move to the country.
Yeah, I plan to relocate for when I switch to working on this game full time, and so I'm going to use that opportunity to just relocate.
What were your childhood interests?
I'd like to say games, but it depends on what age, because I didn't grow up rich, so I didn't have a lot of games. But the games I did play, I just kind of obsessed about. But at the same time, I spent a lot of my time outdoors, like until dark. I love nature and just hanging with friends and all that, so don't forget to go outside, guys.
Yeah, I played outside as a child too, and I have a lot of good memories about it, and I don't remember the games I played, so...
Oh, and building things too. I love building things, like Lego and Kinects and just anything out of wood. I just love building things out of my hand.
What is your favorite video game of all time?
It's really hard to answer that question. It really is.
I know.
And especially since I, with my past, haven't played all the games. But of all the games that I've played, and the one that probably made the biggest impact on me was Metroid Prime. I just found it such a perfect package of a game. I mean, everyone's got their own opinions, but I loved every element.
Well, it's based on your opinion, so you like this game, and it doesn't really matter if the viewers like it too. It's based on your opinion. It's just what you like.
Yeah.
What do you think is your favorite video game of this year?
Oh man, I haven't really played anything from this year, although I've been watching a lot of games because I just haven't had the time to download them, buy them, play them. So I've been especially watching games where just with cool pixel art, like Dead Cells looks absolutely gorgeous. There was an expansion that came out for Enter the Gungeon. That game is an inspiration for me. I love that franchise. I don't think you really call it a franchise, considering it's an expansion. Enter the Gungeon is such a cool project.
I have played it. It's really fun. I agree.
Oh yeah.
I am out of questions. Do you have other things you want to say?
Oh, I don't know. Is there anything else you want to cover?
No, I think we covered everything. We covered the keto diet. We covered.
Yeah.
So everything is covered.
We've covered zoos. We've covered all of that.
No, zoos were not recorded. But
Alright, that was before recording. So,
yeah.
But we've talked about a lot. So.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, I'll be sure to actually remember to send you the link for the musician. I do think he deserves all proper credit. He's a fantastic guy too.
Yeah, for all the viewers, in the description you will find all the links to the social media from Leo, from the music maker, and well, everything that Leo wants to share.
Yeah.